Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be bringing you guys a week 1 preview of the Washington Commanders versus Jacksonville Jaguars season opener. I'll be giving you guys an injury update, I'll talk about some keys to victory, and a final score prediction at the end of the video. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content, hit that like button and that notification bell. It helps out the channel a lot. Man, it is almost here. We are so close to the Washington Commanders season opener against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It'll be in one day at FedEx Field, 1 p.m. Super excited and nervous for this game. So let's first get into an injury report for the game. Nothing, major. All of this was talked about on my video yesterday, but in case you didn't watch, we'll go over it. So Cam Curl, at this moment, recording this on Friday night, so things might change by the time you're watching this video on Saturday or Sunday, but Cam Curl's out. That's really not going to change. Logan Thomas and Cole Turner, both of those guys are questionable, but I think if I had to pick one of those guys that I think will play, I think Cole Turner has a solid shot to play. And then Logan Thomas, I would say like maybe a 40-45% chance of playing, but he said if he doesn't play this week, he'll definitely be playing week 2, so something to monitor there for sure. And then Cam Sims is all good to go, limited all week with concussion, in the concussion protocol, but he's good to go, so that's great to see. Same thing with John Bates, Fedarian Mathis, and Trey Turner. So all those guys are gonna be, playing in the game. And then Cole Turner, Logan Thomas are questionable, and Cam Curl is out. So that's gonna be a big blow to the Commanders, is Cam Curl being out, but they're gonna have to, deal with it, and hopefully Derek Force can step up and play solid for the Washington Commanders, just not give up any big plays, make the tackles when he needs to, and yeah, so let's, he's got to step up. And then on the Jacksonville Jaguars side, they're very healthy. Cam Robinson had one limited day when that was Friday, so maybe his ankle's a little bit weak, and they had a defensive lineman, not going to try to pronounce, both the first name and last name is a little bit hard. He's questionable, and yeah, so they're pretty healthy. We're not so healthy, but could be only one player out. Besides, obviously, we already have Chase Young and company out. So now let's get into the keys to victory for the Commanders. Okay, so the first key to victory for the Commanders is I think they should test the Jacksonville Jaguars secondary. I do not think the Jaguars secondary is that good. Their defensive line, on the other hand, is, on paper should be or could be pretty good. They got Josh Allen, who is a really solid edge rusher. I think this is 4th year. They also have, number 1 overall pick Trayvon Walker, who obviously is raw and will get better as the season goes on and will be a totally different player in week 17 than he is when we play him this week, or I guess week 18. But he's still going to be solid. He's going to be, a presence off the edge that either Sam Cosmi or Charles Leno will have to, try to contain. So that's something to definitely, it's going to be also hard to run on them a little bit. They've got, Aluakon, the linebacker from the Falcons last year, who's a really solid middle linebacker. So, but I think in terms of testing them deep, I think the Commanders will be able to throw on them, pretty well, especially with Terry and Jahan. So I think, not only you should test them, but I would not mind a few deep shots to Terry, Jahan, or even Curtis. All those guys are actually, if you look at the stats, are pretty good on contested catches and, deep catches. You guys can see the stat on the screen, or, on the screen right now. So that is just something I think they should do. Test those corners and safeties, because I'm not really impressed with that many of them. Their D-line, on the other hand, is that's something else. Their D-line is good both against the run and in terms of their pass rush. But the secondary, I think you can definitely beat them. I think our receivers are much better than their corner/safety. So that's the first key to victory. Get some deep passes, open up the field a little bit. So I'm expecting a big day for Terry and Jahan. Okay, so this one, of course, is a cliche one, but I think, for the first week, I think we can do a couple of cliche ones. So win the turnover battle, and this one is even more important for the Commanders. I've stated in the past, I don't have the statistic up right now, but historically, Ron Rivera, his winning percentage when, they win the turnover battle is much higher than the average winning percentage of other coaches when they win the turnover battle. So, it's just more important for Rivera. His teams generally win more than other teams when they win the turnover battle, even when those teams, normally win the turnover battle. So that's something they're going to have to do, and, every team should do it. But, Carson Wentz has actually done a pretty good job in terms of keeping his interceptions down over the last 3 years. I mean, he's had 20 touchdowns and fewer than 10 interceptions the last 3 years. So hopefully he can keep it that way this year. He's struggled a little bit with fumbles, so that's something to keep in mind for sure. But they need to limit the turnovers. You just can't win with that many turnovers. Gibson, he cannot turn the ball over. He cannot fumble. Special teams, you just can't afford any special teams turnovers. It just can't happen. It cannot happen. So hopefully, they don't have any miscues there, any punt return or kick return fumbles, knock on wood. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And then, we need a clean game by Wentz, one turnover max, whether it's a fumble, interception, and anything more than that, it's not great. And then, same thing with Gibson and the receivers, just play a clean game. And then the defense, they didn't do it well enough last year. I mean, they had a decent amount of interceptions, but in terms of fumbles, they barely forced any fumbles. So hopefully they can do that and get an interception or two, maybe get a total of 2+ turnovers. If you do that, you have a very, very good shot of winning. And I know it's cliche, but it's something they did not do well last year. And of course, they didn't win many games last year. So that's something that I really think they need to put an emphasis on. Okay, so the next key to victory for the Commanders is third down defense. I mean, this has been a problem with this defense for a long time. But last year, it was, especially with the first few weeks of the season, it was historically bad. No matter what happened, even on some 3rd and 20s, the offense would convert on third down. And you just can't win. It's just like the turnover battle. If you let if you just let them, stay on the field, not only will obviously they're going to score eventually, but they're going to tire out your defense, and it's going to be easier the next drive for them to score on your defense. So you just can't, it's just something with Jack Del Rio and this defense where they cannot get off the field on third down. It's partly the, zone and everything, but, they just got to figure it out, and, it's not as simple as that, but, it's what they're going to have to do, because if they don't, Jacksonville will score on them. They're not an amazing team. They had the #1 overall pick for a reason, but they did make some upgrades. They do have some solid players on the team. Christian Kirk, he's overpaid for sure, but he's a good receiver in this league. He had 800+ yards last year, for a reason. He's a good receiver in this league. Marvin Jones, just a good veteran to have on the team. They have Brandon Sheriff. They got James Robinson, who might be a little bit limited this week, but he's a good running back. Travis Etienne, first round pick. We'll see how good he is, but, you're assuming he's going to be good. So they have some solid weapons, and, Lawrence, we'll see. I'm happy we're playing the Jags week 1 instead of week 17, because I think Lawrence will be better later in the season than he is now. So, still though, this isn't an offense that's going to be a top 5 offense. You should be able to get off the field on third down, get pressure, get a sack, force Lawrence to throw it away, force a turnover, whatever, or even just tackle him, right before the first down marker. I don't care what it is, just do it and get off the field on third down and let your offense take over after the punt. That's what they got to do. They haven't been doing it the last few years, except for a little bit in 2020. So hopefully they're able to do it, because that's probably one of the most important, if not the most important, key to victory. Okay, so this is another cliche one, but this team can't get off to a slow start. Last year, and especially in 2020, every game they would be down by a ton. The offense in 2020 didn't score, I think a point on their first drive until the last game of the season. And last year, it was better, but the offense as a whole was better, but also on the first drives was better. But still, you'd like them to be a little bit better than they were last year. And the defense as well, you don't let them score first drive touchdown, opening drive touchdown. We're not good at it last year, and that's just you get off to slow starts, and it's really, really bad for you. This team actually, Rivera makes good halftime adjustments, but it seems like Rivera, Del Rio, and even Turner, they're not the best in terms of their preparation for the game. So, because it seems like they always start off slow. They're good at adjustments, but not preparation. So hopefully that does change this year, and not even slow start to the games, but also to the season. The last 2 seasons, the team has gone start off really slow, and then either in the middle or the end of the season they picked up and won a bunch of games. So both of those things, they got to start out better than they have the last couple years in terms of in the game, and also in the first 4 to 8 weeks of the season, they have to have a better start. So all those, I know kind of most of those are cliche. Another one, special teams, like no miscues on special teams, no turnovers on special teams, no, penalties. Like those penalties kill you. If Dax Milne takes it out and then he gets to the 24, but there's a penalty, then you lose. You have terrible, starting field position. That's just not something you want to do. And then, no missed kicks and, just no stupid plays. So those are kind of my keys to victory. Next week we'll have some more official ones, but week 1 it's kind of more, I feel like, cliche. So, yeah. So next week we'll have more official ones. So my prediction, I don't feel very confident about this game. I think the Jaguars, they're not a good team, but they're not a terrible team, even though they did have the number 1 overall pick. They made some upgrades. Evan Ingram, Aluakon, Christian Kirk, Brandon Sheriff, guys like that. They added some players. Still, though, I think we are a better football team. We're at home. We should not lose this game. We should not lose this game. Maybe we will. Also, something I forgot to mention, I've mentioned in the past, but I do like playing teams that, have a new head coach. And I know Doug Peterson he's a veteran head coach in this league, but he has a new team, so it's going to be adjustment for him, Trevor Lawrence, the whole team, maybe the first few weeks of the season. Again, this is a team I feel like is better playing week 1 than week 17. I think they'll be a much better team in week 18. So definitely happy about that. So my score prediction for this game is 27-23 Washington Commanders. I think they'll get the win, but not as close as most people think, and they'll score a decent amount of points, and so will the Jaguars. 23 points. I think Cameron Curl being out is definitely a blow to them, and I think the Jaguars will score some points, and I think Trevor Lawrence will have a pretty solid day, but I think we'll force a fumble at the end of the game, and that'll put it away for the Commanders to go 1-0. If they don't win this game, a lot of upset people, including me, and it's going to be a long week till Detroit. And if they lose that game, then a lot of people are going to be done with the season, after 2 weeks. So these 2 games, it's not I hate saying must win, because it's not a must win, but this is a game you have to win just because of how the opponents are these first 2 games. So that is it for today's video. Hopefully they get the win, and I likely will have a preview video on Sunday, or not a preview video, a preview stream, pre-game stream on Sunday, maybe a couple hours before the game. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.